Okay, so let's dive in. Imagine the political landscape in Tamil Nadu. It's always vibrant, right? Lots of strong opinions.
Definitely. A real marketplace of ideas and sometimes controversies.
Exactly. And right into that steps K. Ponmudy, the forest minister. Now, he apparently caused quite a stir, didn't he, on April 6th, 2025?
That's right. In his hometown, Viluppuram, he made some remarks at a public gathering. Let's just say they were pretty spicy.
Spicy is one word for it. So we're hearing these comments involved Hindu religious symbols and also some derogatory things about women.
Yes, specifically the tilaks, the markings worn by Shaivites and Vaishnavites. And yeah, the remarks about women were problematic, to say the least. It all went viral pretty fast.
Right, by April 10th, it was everywhere. So today we're going to unpack this. What exactly did he say? How did it blow up online?
And crucially, how did his own party, the DMK, react? Because they did react, and quite swiftly.
Okay, so consider this your sort of guided tour through this very fresh political drama unfolding down south.
Let's start at the event itself. Viluppuram, April 6th. It's Ponmudy's constituency, so he's on home ground.
Right, and he tells this anecdote.
Yeah, an anecdote involving, believe it or not, a sex worker and these sacred forehead markings.
Okay, hang on. The tilaks, just so everyone's clear, we're talking about the horizontal mark for Shaivites, followers of Shiva.
Correct. And the vertical one for Vaishnavites, devotees of Vishnu. These are deeply significant religious symbols.
They really are. So what was the interpretation he offered? I heard it was quite crude.
It was. Apparently, he suggested the horizontal mark implied a lying down position.
Yeah.
And the vertical one, a standing position. The sexual connotation was, well, pretty blatant and offensive.
Wow. I mean, to say that publicly as a minister, what was the immediate reaction in the crowd?
Reports suggest there was some chuckling, perhaps nervous laughter, but once that video clip hit the internet, maybe around April 10th,
Then it wasn't funny anymore.
not at all. The criticism exploded online, widespread condemnation.
And you mentioned there were other comments, too, about women.
Yes, alongside the tilak remarks, they've been described as face palm inducing. You know, the kind of thing that just makes you cringe.
Like deeply inappropriate stuff.
Exactly. The kind of comments that really shouldn't be voiced anywhere, let alone by a public figure at an official event.
So the video goes viral. What happens next? The DMK leadership must have seen this.
Oh, they saw it. And the reaction was fast. On April 11th, just a day after it really blew up online, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin acted.
Stalin, who's also the DMK president, what did he do?
He formally relieved Ponmudy of his post as the party's deputy general secretary. It's a pretty senior position within the party structure.
Relieved him. Was there like a big statement explaining why?
Interestingly, no. The official announcement was quite brief, didn't give any specific reasons.
But the timing.
The timing says it all, doesn't it?
Right.
The connection to the viral video seems, well, unavoidable. Everyone understood what it was about.
And it wasn't just Stalin acting behind the scenes. Was there public reaction from within the DMK too? I think I saw something from Kanimozhi.
You did. That was quite significant. Kanimozhi, who's a DMK MP and a very respected voice, especially on women's issues.
Right.
She went public on X, on April 10th, actually, as the controversy was peaking. She stated very clearly that Ponmudy's speech was not acceptable.
So direct criticism.
Very direct. She called the words vulgar and condemnable, and importantly added, regardless of his reasons. That sends a strong message internally and externally.
Yeah, that's quite a public rebuke from a fellow party member. It really shows the level of disapproval, doesn't it?
It certainly suggests that these remarks crossed a line, even within his own party.
Okay, so the DMK is dealing with this internally, but predictably, the opposition wasn't going to stay quiet, right? The BJP.
Not a chance. The Tamil Nadu BJP unit, led by Narayan Tirupati at the time, jumped right on it. Also on April 10th,
That was their angle.
they immediately called for Ponmudy's arrest. Tirupati was quite vocal, calling his continued presence in the cabinet shameful.
Strong words.
Yeah.
Arrest, even.
Yes. And Tirupati specifically accused Ponmudy of maligning the women of Tamil Nadu. He even pointed to Kanimozhi's tweet to sort of bolster her case against the DMK.
Right, using the internal criticism against them. So the BJP strategy seems pretty clear here.
Absolutely. Frame the DMK as being disrespectful to Hindu traditions and also anti-women. It plays into existing political narratives they try to push in Tamil Nadu.
And Tamil Nadu politics is,
Yeah,
well, it's complex. Religion and identity are huge factors.
exactly. So an incident like this gives the BJP ammunition, something concrete to point to in their efforts to gain more ground there.
Now, you mentioned earlier this wasn't Ponmudy's first brush with controversy.
Yeah,
There's some history here.
there is. Back in 2022, he stirred things up with comments about Hindi speakers. He suggested that Hindi speakers from the north who came to Tamil Nadu were mostly just selling pani puri.
Oof, that sounds like stereotyping.
It was widely criticized as exactly that, divisive and based on stereotypes. And notably, there wasn't an apology for that either, as far as we know.
Okay. And aside from verbal gaffes, have there been other issues? Legal ones?
Yes, there have been significant legal troubles. In late 2023, he was actually convicted in a disproportionate assets case, sentenced to 3 years.
3 years. So he lost his minister post then?
He did, briefly. But then, in early 2024, the Supreme Court stayed his conviction,
Oh, okay. So the conviction was put on hold.
which allowed him to be reinstated as a minister. But the case isn't fully resolved, and there have been other allegations swirling around him, too. Things like illegal sand mining, money laundering. It creates a pattern, you know?
Right. So this latest incident doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's a context of past controversies and legal issues.
Precisely, which perhaps makes the party's swift action on the Deputy General Secretary post even more understandable.
So let's zoom out a bit. Why does this specific incident matter so much? It's easy to dismiss it as just a politician making a really bad joke, but it seems deeper than that in Tamil Nadu.
It absolutely is. Tamil Nadu's culture is incredibly sensitive when it comes to religion, language, and increasingly gender roles. These aren't trivial matters, they're core to identity.
And mocking these specific religious symbols, the Shaivite and Vaishnavite tilaks, that's not just vaguely offensive, is it?
No, it's seen as deeply insulting by millions of devout Hindus. It's perceived as an attack on their faith, on traditions that are integral to Tamil culture itself.
And then layer on the comments about women. How does that play out, especially for a party like the DMK?
Well, the DMK has historically championed social justice and claims to stand for women's empowerment. So having a senior minister make such derogatory remarks creates a real dissonance. It contradicts their stated values.
Yeah, it undermines their own platform, in a way.
Definitely. And politically, as we touched on, it hands the BJP a perfect opportunity. They can say, look, this is what the DMK really thinks about Hindus, about women. It feeds right into their narrative.
So where do things stand now? He lost the party post, but he's still forest minister.
As of now, yes. He was removed as Deputy General Secretary, but he remains in the state cabinet as Forest Minister.
Which must put M.K. Stalin in a tricky position.
Extremely tricky. Ponmudy isn't just any minister. He apparently has a solid support base, especially in some northern districts. Plus, his son is an MP.
So kicking him out completely could cause internal problems for the DMK, upsetting factional balances.
That's the calculation, likely. Balancing party unity and managing potential dissent against the damage already done to the party's image and the risk of alienating voters. It's a classic political tightrope walk.
And through all this, what has Ponmudy himself said? Has he apologized? Explained?
Nothing. Complete public silence from him since the video emerged and the controversy erupted.
That's interesting in itself. No attempt at damage control, at least not publicly.
The silence is quite noticeable. It leaves a vacuum, really, allowing others to define the narrative. Maybe it's strategic, maybe he's hoping it'll blow over, we don't know. But it's definitely part of the story now.
It really highlights, though, doesn't it, the weight of words for public figures, especially in a place like Tamil Nadu, which is so politically engaged and culturally aware.
Absolutely. It's a stark reminder about responsible communication. What might seem like an off-the-cuff remark can have massive, immediate consequences.
So we've walked through this whole episode, from the remarks in Villupuram to the swift party action and the opposition's response.
Yeah, it really shows how a few ill-chosen words can just detonate, setting off this chain reaction involving the ruling party, the opposition, the public. Everyone gets drawn in.
And the speed is just incredible, isn't it? How quickly information travels now and how immediate the call for accountability is.
It is. It really makes you think about the constant pressure cooker politicians operate in. The scrutiny is relentless.
So reflecting on all this, it leaves us with a pretty interesting question, I think. What does this whole affair tell us about how political talk is changing?
And maybe about how vital that cultural and social sensitivity really is in public life. Not just in Tamil Nadu, really, but kind of everywhere.
Exactly. Something to definitely mull over.